Hey, on the channel, the Invisible Man is here, but we got my dad along for the ride with Dr. Jack Griffin, NECA Invisible Man unboxing and review.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome, everyone. Kyle here, back again with a special guest, my dad. Dad, say hello.
Hello.
Dad, good to have you back for another Universal Monster review. It's starting to get a pattern here. You came back for the Mummy and now the Invisible Man. I like what I'm seeing.
It's good to be visible.
It is good to be visible. Yeah, if you're invisible, you could just be
exactly,
dead.
yeah.
You never know what could be going on. But you're no Invisible Man for this review, and I know a lot of people in the comments are saying, hopefully your dad's not invisible for the NECA Invisible Man review. But Dad, I got you here ready to go. We're going to power through this Invisible Man unboxing and review. But of course, for all your Invisible Man needs and a whole lot more, hit up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there. Shout out to jaystoysandgames.com. And shout out to my dad for joining us for this video here. And Dad, would you say you're an Invisible Man connoisseur?
Somewhat, you know. He's probably, since we're near St. Patrick's Day, he's a very famous Irishman.
Yeah, that's true, too. Dr. Jack Griffin, of course.
Dr. Jack Griffin. Griffin is an Irish name.
There you go. So it's celebrating St. Patrick's Day with the Invisible Man. Does anybody else doing a St. Patrick's Day Invisible Man movie or video? Probably not.
Probably not that length, although this movie was shot in England, and you know, it has an English background to it rather than Irish, but that is.
Now, I'm going to be controversial here. Now, the Invisible Man, one of my least favorite of the bunch of the Universals. I don't know. There's something about Invisible Man. It's more of a descent into madness, wouldn't you say? It's kind of what it was.
It is. It follows along with Frankenstein in that,
but not as good.
You know, Dr. Griffin tries to play God, just like Dr. Frankenstein did, and becoming invisible, he realizes you have superhuman powers. You can do anything you want to anybody, and that ends up getting him in the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then there was multiple Invisible Man movies, but wasn't it like, what was the guy's name that played him? Rains or?
Claude Rains.
Claude Rains.
This is 1933. This would be right after Dracula and Frankenstein. And Claude Rains is a famous actor. This was the first, I think, American film he ever did. But most notably, you'd see him in Casablanca as the French policeman.
You know, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I am one class away from a minor in film.
Oh, you are?
Just one class.
You better take that class.
And I had to watch Casablanca in film school. Is what we had to do. So I'm thinking about going back and getting that one class, but I was hoping you would pay for it. Is there a way? Can I get some? Can I get some money to pay for that? I'm just going to do it like in the summertime. Take it to the summer class.
I'll dig through my couch. I'm sure there's enough money there.
I'm sure. It can't be that expensive. No. But how cool would it be to have a minor in film? This kid, they'd say, that Kyle, he's got a minor in film. He's written books before. It's just a renaissance man.
And you would have known all about Claude Rains.
I would have,
if you just had that one more credit.
Exactly. I would tell you everything about him.
There you go.
Poor Claude, though, he was in another monster movie of some kind. It's escaping me.
He is Sir John Talbot, father of Larry Talbot in The Wolfman.
That's what it was. That's right. Good. See, it's up there. I knew. I was watching The Wolfman the other night. I think I don't know if
Good
I was
old Larry.
It might have been on Svengoolie, or maybe I was watching an old one. He talked about it. So
Sir John was his dad.
But also, my favorite Invisible Man of all time was probably one, of course, Vincent Price, most known for the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo cartoon, of course, in the 80s. But he also was the Invisible Man in, what was that? The Abbott and
Costello
Meet the Frankenstein? Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Right.
I guess it was just his voice, and it was just kind of a cameo of the
At the very end. At the very end. They're in a boat on the dock.
Yes. So that was just more voiceover work for Vincent Price there. But you're an okay Vincent Price guy. Now, you like Vincent Price okay, but Christopher Lee and, of course, Peter Cushing, you could just throw them off a boat.
I'm not a fan.
Anti-Hammer. So
I think they're good actors.
Yes.
And it depends. If they're in Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, I liked them. But
of course.
I didn't like them mucking up my horror films.
And I think I understand where you come from, where somebody in my generation, where I enjoy the Hammer stuff, but I also enjoy the Universal Monster. But there was no Hammer when you started watching the Universal Monster. So it felt like a cheap imitation.
Right. Those came in the 60s. There was a big wave of these Universal horror movies that came out in 64, 65. It's like they had a rebirth from the 30s and 40s. And the Hammer films came after. And I don't know, you grew up watching Universal, and then those took it to a different level, kind of on the way to the current day slasher films, I think. So,
more blood and guts and stuff and gore. And you like the art of imagination, of course. I do. Where I like to see somebody just get their head ripped off, because it's like what I want to do to people every single day out in the mean streets. And I can't do it because I don't really want to go to jail. At least not yet. Maybe one day. We'll see what happens. But you guys all remember my stint, of course, in Oz way back in the day. Oz Penitentiary. Dad, it was so nice of you to come visit me when I was in Oz back in the day. But there was that Adebisi fella, and he wouldn't leave me alone. He'd always be picking on me. Vern, a guy, I had to bunk with Vern for a while. It was rough. He forced a tattoo on me, as we know.
Vern Gagne?
Vern Gagne. Don't even get me started. Don't get me started on the Gagne family. We got enough heat. I'm a little worried that Greg Gagne is going to be coming for me any day with this Power Town fiasco.
I wouldn't worry about that.
And that's exactly what I'm going to say. So, Dad, I know you could handle, that'd be some of your light work, Greg Gagne, I think, at this point, of course. And brings you all back to college, seeing Greg Gagne, and you said, I officially lost respect for professional wrestling when you saw... Wasn't it the High Flyers you saw? Was it Jim Brunzell?
Jim Brunzell.
And Jim Brunzell, a good guy.
They were good. They were
salt of the earth.
They were the beginning of the gymnasts.
Yes,
in wrestling, I think. Way back when there was a lag, but today all we have is gymnasts, I think.
Yeah, it's a little rougher. I do miss the old Stan Hansens of the world and the Bruisers and stuff like that. The Crusher, of course, probably a favorite of yours back in the day. Dick the Bruiser, stuff like that. But I remember you telling me long ago. You were in college and you went. Of course, you were going to college in AWA territory, and you said, this Greg Gagne, this is the minute where I just lost belief in all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked you didn't become a professional wrestler, because now my dad is 6'8". Yes, it's true, 6'8" and a half at one time at least. You might have lost that half in your age, maybe.
No, I was never a half.
Weren't you 6'8" and a half? I didn't think it was perfect.
No,
I think you were a half.
I was rounded up there.
But 6'8", of course, and I'm shocked old Vern Gagne didn't just touch you on the shoulders and said, we got Chris Taylor over here. Why don't you come join the fun? Because you would have been you'd be a giant wrestler now, but you would have been a huge giant back then. You and Andre the Giant and Ernie Ladd would have had some massive feuds back in the day. I can just see you down in like Mid-South in a blood and guts match with Ernie Ladd. You'd be calling him out, saying, these football players, I don't have respect. It's about the basketball players. I can see it writes itself really at the end of the day. But if you had to wrestle one, would you rather wrestle Andre the Giant or Ernie Ladd?
Oh, boy.
It's a pick 'em.
I think Ernie is a lot quicker than Andre.
Yeah.
So I would go with Andre.
Yeah, I guess around the time you were wrestling, you would have been wrestling. Andre just started slowing down. He used to throw drop kicks back in the day. But I don't know.
In those days, I weighed like 265 pounds. That's still not enough for people like that.
But if you were going to wrestle, you would put on more weight. You were trying to keep your weight down for basketball, and obviously all that running around and stuff. But it all goes full circle because our Uncle Paul, of course, your brother, of course, Paul White, as we know him as the Giant. So that's where I get those looks from. Everybody always says, Kyle, you look like the Big Show.
I thought you meant Paul Bearer.
Oh, Paul Bearer, another distant family member, of course.
But speaking of wrestling, and the Invisible Man.
Yes.
Okay, the Invisible Man, Dr. Griffin, discovered a substance called monocaine, which he was experimenting with to make him invisible.
Mm-hmm.
He forgot to look at some of the earlier studies on monocaine, because it was used in experiments on dogs, and it turned them psychotic and mad, and they would bite people. So he overlooked that part. But he came up with monocaine, which allowed him to become invisible. And I just so happened to be on the treadmill this morning.
Okay.
And there was a commercial for The Rock.
Oh, of course.
The Rock.
Dwayne
The Rock Johnson.
Yes.
And he's come out with a new tequila.
Oh, of course he has.
He says...
Tequila Mockingbird.
The tequila is infused with mana.
Oh, yes.
Now, I thought, is that short for monocaine? I don't know.
Somebody get Ventura.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
We got to get him on the case for this.
But if that's true, The Rock will become the most formidable wrestler on the planet because you won't be able to see him.
That's true. That's true.
Just like the Invisible Man.
And he could be on his way right there because he is now the final boss, is what The Rock is called. And I don't know if you've seen some of this stuff as you've been doing lately. Whip and good friend of the channel, Cody Rhodes, our good friend. Yeah. Our good friend Cody. And Cody and Dusty, we got a long history with the Rhodes family, of course, as we do. But you could be onto something. And this Mana and The Rock, don't get me started on all this kind of stuff.
But it will ruin his movie career. Because you can't see him. Whatever character it is,
how do you do it?
Be the Invisible Rock.
Didn't the Invisible Man wrestle one time too in one of the movies?
He fought people.
I thought there was people. Wasn't there like for some reason I remember like maybe it was in the Abbott or something, like the Invisible Man was in the boxing ring or something.
I don't remember.
And I remember like gloves just floating in the air.
In this movie, he threw his landlord's husband down the stairs. He threw several people around. He also had his assistant, his friend, Dr. Kemp, drive off a cliff as he sat in the back seat choking him.
A story of murder and mayhem, really.
And he derailed a train, which killed hundreds of people.
It's crazy, yeah. And I think somebody said once the Universal Monster Invisible Man had the most death toll of any movie, which is crazy to think about. You think of something else. You think of that kind of stuff.
But he thought he was a god, and he looked at people as roadkill by the end of the movie. They were dispensable, and
he was at a higher level. Yeah. A higher level, exactly. So, well, we've got 10 minutes in,
which is a morality tale, just like Frankenstein.
There you go. So let's get into it. Let's get into the figure here. There's, of course, the packaging on this one. Invisible Man, looking good. I like the artwork on this.
I love it. I love those boxes.
This really popped on the shelf when I saw it. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And I didn't even know this was coming out. I knew it was coming out. I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con. Trying to get my dad to go to San Diego Comic-Con with me this week. It's not working out very well. Dad is really scared of being recognized as Bill Walton. And of course, Bill Walton passed away, as we know, unfortunately. A hero of yours, of course.
I've been to San Diego numerous times and no one ever said I was Bill Walton.
But you've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. Now, these are people that are maybe not into the sports, especially the legendary sport people like us. And speaking of sports, I see the Kansas City A's hat. I had to ask you, I said, wait, is this what I think? I was a little confused for a second, but repping the A's, of course. And I don't know if we should start listing A's performers. We could just go back and forth. You know, we go Goose Gossage, you'd go Reggie Jackson.
Joe Rudy. You've got Catfish Hunter. You've got Raleigh Fingers. You've got Sal Bando.
What about Vida Blue?
Vida Blue. Don't forget. He played here in Des Moines.
He did. Yeah. So we can go back and forth, just list A's. We should just do a video where we go back and forth for A's. We've got to bring in Carnegie Lansford. And then, of course, good friend of the channel, Terry Steinbach. Of course, we love him.
Well, when I was a little kid, we were about a 2.5 hour drive. The nearest major league team was Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I watched them go from the real dull blue and gray uniforms to the green and gold. And Charlie O'Finley was the owner. And it was quite a spectacle. And everybody was crushed when they left.
Hard times. And even the minor league team here into the 80s, I think, was, of course, the Oakland A's, of course. And like Reggie.
The Iowa Oaks.
Everybody
they were called the Iowa Oaks.
So there you go, Invisible Man. The more you know, it's not just about the figure, folks. The Invisible Man right here, doing invisibility things over here. On the back, look at that. All kinds of artwork going on. Just beautiful artwork that really does pop. Includes multiple interchangeable heads. Too many heads, if you ask me. Hands, shirt pieces, fire tongs, stack of books, and wrappings.
Yeah, and he comes in his own smoking jacket.
He does. We'll get into all of it right here. There it is right there, trying to get in the camera. But beautiful piece right here, a lot going on. And I love the extra heads. I love the extra hands. But at the same time, it does frustrate me a little bit. And we're going to put this a gentle off to the side. See you later. We got to save the packaging on these, Dad. We got to do that. But we got twist ties for days right here. I should do the plastic prison too. There it is. So everybody can see. Beautiful. But yeah, twist tie is going to take an hour. So we're going to have to stall. What can we talk about? What can we talk about? But,
well, like I said, he's wearing what they used to call a smoking jacket. And the reason people do that, you come home, you're wearing your nice clothes, maybe a suit and tie, whatever. You throw on this kind of thing because chances are if you're a smoker, you're going to burn holes in your good clothes.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're sitting in your lazy boy with one of those on and puffing away, and life is good.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that about burning holes. So I'm a connoisseur of Western wear. I don't know if you know this. I love my Western wear shirts, and I really am very fond. There's the H-Bar C, which are a nice one. A little pricey, but those are a favorite of mine. But my absolute favorite Western wear is the Kenny Rogers Carmen collection from the 80s and late 70s. That is my favorite. story. Now, Kenny Rogers, Islands in the Stream, we know all Kenny Rogers. Not a huge fan of his music, but I love his Western wear.
Yeah.
So I buy a lot of these vintage Western wears. I'm always on the hunt for these vintage Western shirts. But bringing it back to smoking, of course, manly men wear their Western shirts. Real men, salt of the earth men, like myself.
They smoke Marlboro.
Probably. They probably did. And there's a lot of them you have to watch because there'll be like cigarette burns in it. Of course, being the 70s and 80s, everybody smoked back then.
Right.
I even smoked. I smoked in like 82. I think I was 3 years old. I smoked my first cigarette back then. Everybody was doing it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, maybe not. But I do remember as a kid, I've never tried a cigarette.
Oops.
I wouldn't even know how to do it. And I remember as a little kid, you said, I will kill you if you ever smoke. And I took that to heart. I said, never.
I never mentioned that.
You did. You
Never
told me.
had to.
You told me.
Never
you said,
had to.
Kyle, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you go on acid trips. I don't care if you work that astral plane. You grab a Timothy Leary and you guys become best friends. I don't care if you
With
do
the
that.
Moody Blues.
Yeah, you said just don't smoke, Kyle. Just don't smoke, and I took it to heart. Never did it. But also, I'm always working. I'm always hustling. And I'm like, cigarettes are expensive. They're probably even more expensive now. And I said, I think there's better things I could spend my money on. I think that's exactly what I thought. And
well, just as an aside, I used to wear cowboy hats and cowboy coats.
Here we go.
Till I was about 5 years
Here
old.
we go.
And then I grew up.
Yeah, exactly. I knew that. I knew that's where that was going.
Yeah.
You used to play cowboys and Indians, and then you grew up.
You just grew up.
Not me. I'm still rocking that Western gear. And people are always like, what is this? What are you doing? Yeah, I'm just being me. Just being my natural self is what I'm doing. You
do that.
You gotta be there.
They call you the breeze.
That's right. I am. I'm like a young JJ Cale, really. You're not the first person to say that back in the day. Some say Kyle's always living on Tulsa time. That's what they tell me. And they might be right. But now we got to dive in. Let's start with these accessories here. Let's start with advanced chemistry and physics.
Oh, my.
Did you ever take those classes in college?
I took chemistry, not physics.
I tell you what, I tried to breeze through. That's why they called me the breeze, because I tried to breeze through without doing everything I could to not have to take these classes. And I was a gymnast of another sort in school, trying to get through college and all that kind of stuff. I'd find a way to pass.
You were just another Ronnie Van Zant.
I really was. Yeah. I was very determined. And one of these days, we're going to tell how Kyle graduated college by cheating the system.
Oh, my.
You remember this German class. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was an amazing thing where the teacher even brought me into the office and said, Mr. Peterson, nobody has ever scammed my system like you did. Congratulations, you've passed, but I'm telling you, no one will ever be able to do that ever again. And I said, well, you got to do what you got to do to pass. So I'll tell that story in long form. It's a great story. And you know what? My teacher's name was Miss Rectanus.
Oh, my.
Was that a good name?
That sounds obscene.
It's a weird name. And it was tough not to laugh every day in class. It was tough. So more on that story in the future. But we do got advanced chemistry and physics, lab experiments, and really testing my eyes here. Scientist handbook. Oh, of course. One of the greatest handbooks of all time. But that's a beautiful accessory piece you can use with any other toy line if you wanted to. So he's just a book nerd at the end of the day.
Put it on your end table.
Now we do get these tongs, nice silver, very ornate looks of the time, of course. Nowadays you buy one of these at like Home Depot, it's going to be the most generic thing ever, but this is all nice and ornate. Does not remove, does not do anything. I think this is when he was working on his elixirs and stuff. Right. He was getting in there because you don't want to grab it with your hand. You don't know what you're getting yourself into right there. Now we do get some wrappings, and I'm not exactly sure what you do with these wrappings here. I guess you just hold them in his hand. It's like, you just have these off to the side, like he's putting himself on there.
Like he's taking them off, or just like this head.
Yeah, he's removing it. And this, is he the Invisible Man or is he the Mummy? What is he? What is he exactly at the end of the day? And it feels weird wrapping your face too. If you're invisible, why do you wrap your face? Like, well, just be invisible.
So people can see you. They have someone to talk to.
I guess so. I guess you feel like there's somebody there. Now, we do get a lot of Invisible Man hands right here. Of course, gloved hands, as we know. Mm-hmm. 2 fists of fury right there. I guess 2 fists of fury ready to go. We do got the what you gonna do, brother hands. What you gonna do, brother? He's got those going on. You got to have those hands, of course. We got a little splayed out hand, shaking hand, and then we got a gripping hand for the tongs right there. So choose your own hand adventure. Yeah, 2 splayed out hands out of the package as well. So all the hands you could ever want. Now you can choose your own adventure, and Dad, I'll put you on the spot. Which piece would you want? Do you want him with the scarf around the neck, or do you want him with the collar?
I like the scarf.
I think I prefer the scarf too. Looks more whimsical, more powerful. Looks
seems
more
to flow with the whole outfit.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I guess when I close my eyes and I think of this, I think of the scarf. I don't think of this shirt.
That looks like he just came in from gardening or something.
Yeah, and it does match his PJs. It matches his PJs down here. So really living that life. And It's weird. I can't wear like bed shorts or bed pants like this.
No.
It's just a weird thing. And I'm not against a smoker jacket. I don't smoke, but I'd wear one of these around the house.
No.
I think it would just show dominance over everybody in the house. It's like, look at this guy. He's walking around. He's got this going on. I'm not opposed. I don't know where I find one of these at, but I'm on the hunt. I'll be on the hunt. But I would never wear this
get
whole...
them at Bed Bath & Beyond.
It could be. Those closed down, though, didn't they?
I don't know. There's a few of them open.
Is there still? But he's got the whole shirt and everything underneath.
Yeah.
I mean, just look like a total dork if you wore all this. Yeah. Can you imagine if you didn't have this robe on? The robe gives him the touch of class. He takes all that off and he's just in this whole outfit. He might as well have one of those like nighttime hats on, like a Charles Dickens thing. Might as well have one of those on.
Like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's dive into the heads here. So the first one, he's got those glasses on. Are those, I don't know what you call it. Are they like safety glasses?
Those are very alarming.
Yeah,
yes.
they're very out there. And it looks like he's
spooky.
got some like staples in there.
Right.
So he's got that going on in the head. Now the second head here, not terribly different here. A little bit more football shaped head though.
It's like it's built up on the top a little bit
Yeah.
more with bandages. Yeah.
So I don't know. This is going to be a hard one here as far as heads go.
You
so
see him in the movie in various degrees
Yeah.
of bandage and non-bandage. So
we're seeing a lot of that. So now this third head here, this is the one I'll probably end up using where he's kind of disrobing his head, I guess is what he's doing right here. Yeah, it's hollow inside. And, you know, this does come with 3, 4, 5, really 6 heads because you take this head off, it could just be the Invisible Man head. It's like he didn't have his head on.
There you go.
But there's the wrapping head, so looks okay there. Moving on here. Losing them off the table. Once again, you get another mummy head. This time
looks like the mummy, yeah.
Yeah, no glasses on this
Right.
one. So that's going to be the difference with these two right here.
Yeah, they both look too mummy to me.
And once again, it's like you got the football-shaped head and a regular shaped
Are these
head.
glasses removable?
They are not.
They're not, so those don't come with glasses.
Yep. So interesting. So honestly, overkill on the head department. Like, hey, I'm okay with some more heads. It'd be great if we didn't have all these heads and I could save a couple of bucks, but it is what it is. But for me, I'm probably going to go with the wrapping head. What about you? Any idea?
I might stick with that one. There was an earlier figure made where he can hold his hand with wrapping, I think, and that was kind of cool.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
here.
that was cool.
We'll get to that here in a second.
But it reminds me of this a little bit.
You know what they call that in movie class? They call that foreshadowing.
There you go.
Foreshadowing is
The
what
gun
they
on
call
the
that.
mantle.
Yes,
The gun
exactly.
on the mantle.
Exactly. So we do got him looking good though in the head, and then we're gonna go with the scarf
I like
over the
that,
shirt. And then you got the smoker jacket looking good, very regal. Love the plaid against the brown. Very old timey, but very touch of class right there. I would say.
1930s.
1930s. What were you doing in the 1930s? Anything? Not up to much.
I was
Grandpa, he was born in the 20s?
1922.
26? 26? Yeah, I guess that would make sense. So 1926, Grandpa Peterson was born. So next year's a big one for him. Next year's a big one for him. So do you think he liked the Invisible Man back in the day?
I'm sure, most of those people in
Depression.
were going through the Depression. They didn't have 2 nickels to
Yeah.
rub together
Yeah.
and let alone go see many movies.
Grandpa told that story where he found a quarter in the Depression. Wasn't that what it is? And like his whole family beat him for it or something.
I think his cousin found it, and they went out on the town, and I don't know, got 3 hamburgers, went to the movie, got ice cream later, all for like 25 cents. And his parents questioned, "Where did you get that?" I think the cousin found it in the cushions of a car.
Oh, geez. So then they had to die down the town. Imagine what a quarter could buy back then.
Oh, boy. All of that.
But then he was in big trouble when he got home, and they said, you could have fed our family of 52 kids for a couple of weeks and stuff. So old Grandpa.
Life was tough.
Yeah, he had a tough one. So I'm sure back then they put the boots to you, probably.
Yeah.
I was thankful you only used the belt on me when I was trouble. That was good. No,
that was long past.
No, you never had to. You never had to. You never had to just punch me in the face or anything. There's still time.
I didn't believe in those kind of things.
No, I had no reason to. I didn't give you any real reason to.
You can always reason with people.
Not me. Not me. You know me. I'm unreasonable. We'll tell more story. We can go all day, but diving into right here, he's got the gloves on, of course, got the whole robe. Very limited in the articulation for this one, which is okay. It's not like you and I are having
the robe's going to limit anything.
Yeah, and it's not like you and me are having matches with these guys or anything. We're pretty much displaying them. So, but you do get the arms that go all the way around for us. Single jointed elbow. You do get the side to side. The side to side. You get the hands removable back forward, side to side. Head removable back forward, side to side. Of course, the collar piece removable. Waist articulation a little bit, not much to write home about, and really nothing as far as the legs. You might as well not even have legs at this point here. You do get Nothing out of the ankles either. So there's really nothing going on as far as the legs go on this one here. So very, very limited in the articulation, but he should fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand. Use discount code Kyle.
Yeah, it works.
Save yourself 10%. So there's the old Invisible Man, and you were foreshadowing it. We did get the Jada Toys one way back when.
That's right.
That's a very good one.
A little smaller.
It's
but
smaller, of course.
That was very nice, too.
This is their best figure by far, I think, from the Jada Toys stuff. They have a special place. They're okay figures, but this one is... I actually wish this one looked like this one, but in this scale. Because I like this red. I don't know if this is 100% correct, but I like this red over the brown. It was a
black and white movie.
That's true. So you got to use your own imagination. And I also like the pajamas color better on this one here. So
yeah, that is nice.
Interested to see how that goes. And it had some more accessories. You had the beaker. You had a lot of different stuff. And you had the one head where you're unwrapping it, too, with the thing out there. So that was a good
very good look.
And then we got this one. Once again, there's not a lot going on with the Invisible Man. He doesn't got a lot of shelf personality like the Wolfman or a Dracula, of course. But that was the one from way back when. And then I did get this one as well, the glow-in-the-dark version, of course. I'm all in on the glow-in-the-dark. Dad's out on the glow-in-the-dark. He doesn't believe in that glow-in-the-dark business. He says, if I want a light, I'll use a flashlight. I'm saying, no, we don't need a flashlight. I got my Invisible Man. He glows just fine. And I use this to get around the house when the power goes out. But to each their own. To each their own, of course. But that's it. That's the Murder's Row of Invisible Men. Not much going on. Not a ton of bells and whistles with this one. So once again, just like it's not my favorite Universal Monster movie, not going to be my favorite figure in the NECA line for sure. But it is cool. It is a moment in time, and I'm here for all these Universal Monster figures, but we're really running out of runway for these figures too. We're really not having a whole lot more. We do got this one here, Dad. Let's just unbox this right now and talk about it all. No, we do got the Crypt Club one, but my dad's out on these two. He's not going with it.
I don't think I would unbox that. I think it's better as a display item because the figures are a little bit generic to me.
Yeah. And you don't even remember the Burger King Kids Club back in the day.
I don't.
You remember getting me the chicken sandwich, though. You remember, I loved that chicken sandwich at Burger King. I had one, actually, the other day. I was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Salt of the earth, that one. I was trying to come home, trying to make my way home from Wisconsin. And just for old time's sake, I went through the drive-thru. I got the onion rings. And I got the chicken sandwich, the classic chicken sandwich, and you got to go plain. And you know what? Jeff George, you know Jeff, of course.
I do.
That's what he gets there, too. He gets the same thing, but plain, just like me.
So this is kind of nostalgia. I haven't been to Burger King probably in 20 years, but it's just a nostalgic trip for you.
It was. And everybody in my family hates Burger King, so we never go there. But except for Emma. Emma loves a good chicken fry. So she always says, let's go on a daddy-daughter date and let's go to Burger King.
They still have the Whopper.
They do, and I've never had a Whopper. Can you believe that? I've never had a Whopper. It's weird. I've never had a Big Mac either. I've always been a chicken guy. I've always been a guy that gets the chicken sandwich for whatever reason. But the worst thing about that Burger King experience for me was I went through the drive-thru and I got the onion rings. I was like, I'm going to get onion rings. I like them better than fries. So I did that. And the lady was handing me the bag through the drive-thru window, and I could smell the onion rings. And this is like the window gap in between outside. And it was the most powerful onion rings I've ever smelled in my life. I literally drove across the street to the Target. I had about 2 onion rings, and I threw them away because I knew Angie. You know Angie, of course. She would just flip out. Your car smells like onions. I could just see it. She said, I don't get this thing detailed and washed out and aired out. I knew it was headed south because they were the worst smelling onion rings. They tasted funny too. I only had 2 and I threw them away in the Target. I decided I gotta get rid of this evidence, and I couldn't have it in there. So it was a wild time, but the chicken sandwich was delicious, just like I remembered it as a kid. So
well, at least she gave you a bag of onion rings and didn't hand them out to you one at a time.
Yeah, here you go. Or she could have got a straw and put them on there and shot them into me or something. That would have been an amazing one. But used to love Burger King as a kid, and Burger King used to be right up there with McDonald's, it felt like, and they dropped off the face of the earth.
Have it your way.
And don't get me started on Wendy's. Wendy's for a long time was my favorite, but they did a lot of dumb mistakes. And the first thing was Dave Thomas dying. Dave Thomas, that guy was the salt of the earth too. You
can't recover from that.
You can't. Dave Thomas was just an all-timer. They should be using him with AI and CGI. That'll get Wendy's back on track. They got to fix the bun. And I'll tell you a little story offline on that one too. I got to fix those buns, and the French fries are terrible now.
And where is Wendy? I mean, that's his daughter.
Where's Wendy? Get involved. Wendy, get involved.
Pick up the mantle. Pick up the mantle from Dave.
Yes, show some interest in the family company, and I'm sure they've long sold out. She cashed that check and said, "I'm done with it. Do whatever you want." It doesn't even look like me anymore.
The Walmart people.
She probably is
in Arkansas.
Yeah, probably is. Who knows? But there's They're the Waltons, and that was one of your favorite shows back in the day, the Waltons, wasn't
and
it?
look what happened to them.
Look
They
what
founded
happened.
Walmart. And
Exactly. John Boy was there.
John
I
Boy
think.
founded Walmart along with...
I hated the Waltons. Did you like the Waltons?
No.
I hated that show. That was terrible. That was on all the time on reruns when I was a kid in the 80s. That and Highway to Heaven. Did you like that show?
No.
That was horrible too. But then there was that guy with the beard. Remember him in Highway to Heaven? And he always wore the A's hat.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, I want to watch this. I want to enjoy this show, but I just couldn't get around the Highway to Heaven. But
No.
I don't know. Just had to stick to Webster Law, and that's where you got to stay if you're watching 80s TV. That's for sure. But there it is, The Invisible Man. I think it's all been said. It's all been said here today. I don't think we left anything on this table.
No.
I don't think we left anything on the table here. So
No.
The Invisible Man is done, forever invisible in our hearts. Sounds like the next release we're going to get is the Phantom of the Opera in the whole red outfit, the Mask of the Red Death, or whatever they're calling that one. So we'll have to reconvene for that. I'm sure we'll see that. It was just shown at New York Toy Fair, and I'm sure it'll be out or at least shown at San Diego Comic-Con in July. So more on that, but that looks to be what's next. After that, it's anybody's guess. Is there any other toy lines you would like to unbox? No. No.
I'll think about it.
You'll think about it. I don't know what that could be. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know either.
There it is. There's The Invisible Man. Dad, I think we're done. Like I said, we've said it all.
Hey.
But what about you? Now it's your time to have your say in the comments. A lot to unpack here, that is for sure. But let us know your thoughts on The Invisible Man in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, of course. Always helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Dad, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we're nearing 50,000 subscribers here there. And it's very fitting that the 5-year anniversary of the channel is at the end of the month. So if we can hopefully marry those two up, we're going to do some serious giveaways on the channel. I don't know. We're about 500 short right now. We got a couple of weeks to go. If it doesn't happen, I'm fine with it. But it's going to be bad for the viewers out there because I have 5 giveaways ready to go. We'll do one giveaway no matter what. We got to celebrate 50,000, but it'd be nice to get 4 other giveaways out there. But I'm a man of principles. If we don't hit it, we don't hit it. We'll just have to give away the one. So we got about 500 to go. We'll see what happens. Could be time for you to finally subscribe. You could be the one to put it over the top. We'll see what happens there. I'm going to ask my wife and kids to finally subscribe as well. And Angie's in these videos now, and she won't even subscribe. So what's going on with that? That's just disrespect.
Well, after I'm done here, I'll walk through a few nursing homes, see if I can get each room.
Just grab every cell phone they have there and just say, hey, let me put that on there for you. So we'll see what happens, but we're dangerously close, and we're going to do a 5-year anniversary video at the end of the month. All kinds of announcements, all kinds of surprise, hopefully all kinds of giveaways, maybe even a guest appearance from my dad along the way as well.
Well, a lot of dead people vote in the United States.
That's
Could they
true.
subscribe to your channel?
You know, I'm not opposed to it.
I think there's at least 20 million of them.
I've heard that too. So, I mean, might as well sign them up for that while they're doing it.
They could subscribe. What else they doing?
I've got no
Between
problems
voting,
with it.
subscribing.
I've got no problems with it. Even if you get your like 1-year-old kid or a kid that's ready to be born, put them on a YouTube account. I don't care. Anybody. I'll take everybody. You're all welcome here. We'll take it all. So
it's a big tent.
That's right. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out my other YouTube channel. Subscribe over there as well. Patreon, best way to support the channel. All kinds of content every single day. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and Dad now on TikTok. I'm trying to take over the mantle from you. You were an early adopter of TikTok with your dance moves. I'm just trying to catch up to you is all I'm trying to do.
Those moves wear on people. They get a little old after a while.
They do. But, you know, it's all right. It's all right. You were doing the twist like a young Chubby Checker. Did you see Chubby Checker in concert once? Somebody told me they did. I can't remember who it was.
I have not seen him in concert. I've seen him on TV and American Bandstand. He used to be on an old American Bandstand.
He's up for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. It's kind of ridiculous. He should be in there. Come on. It does the twist. But I was thinking you told it to me. I don't know who told this to me, but they saw Chubby Checker in concert way back when, and he played the twist 5 times. He played it 5 times.
That happened a lot in those days.
It did. It's so weird. Like bands would play like their hit song multiple times.
You have a one-hit wonder. They might have 2 other songs, and they would play their hit song 5 times.
That's so wild to me. Like, I think people would maybe revolt. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Who knows? But there it is. Make sure you subscribe. All that fun stuff, as we did say. Dad, appreciate you coming over here.
Thanks for having me.
Say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, everyone.
And until next time, my dad and I will see you guys all real soon.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?
I'm solid gold.